This is the podcast of Professionalising Entrepreneurship, and I am Ngai Yuen. With the co-creators of the Professional Practice in Entrepreneurship PPE, Dr. Ainurul Rosli, Brunel University London's Reader in Entrepreneurship and Enterprise, Dr. Chang, founder of GRITse Social Enterprise London. And this week, welcome back, we are talking about building a community through team learning. Team learning. Being a team is difficult enough, and now we have to do team learning. How more difficult should we try to reimagine what entrepreneurship should be? Well, anyway, Dr. Ainurul, I'm sure you have a really good and compelling reason to talk about why team, why not just a hero entrepreneur.
So long gone hero entrepreneurs. I don't think so. Hero entrepreneurs work anymore because, without we realizing it, those who are actually at top, they have a team behind them. But more importantly is knowing how to work in teams. And unless you experience one, it's really difficult for you to learn one. And this is something why we emphasize a lot on team learning. To make it more clearly, is entrepreneurial team learning. So what makes it different is the clear ethos, values, ethics, and the principle that they themselves have to decide what it is. The esprit of soul of entrepreneurial learning, they need to be with the team to grow together. They need to understand that in order for them to play the game, they need to set the rule of the game. And it is about making them, to give them the experience of before you can actually work with other people outside, you need to know how to work with your inside team. And, so building the relationship to make them aware that it is okay for you to feel comfortable with the team, experience it with the team, provide some comfort. I know that we talk quite a lot about being discomfort, but one thing that you need to understand is, and like you said in the first episode, entrepreneurship is very risky, right? It's about taking risks. The fact that you know that you are in a team will allow you to be better in taking action, rather than planning. So in a way, putting in a team, allowing them to make it easy for them to take action.
It is a shared risk.
It is a shared risk.
Responsibility.
It's responsibility. Apart from the chaos that they have to manage, it is indeed the shared risk that they can actually realize that it is okay to do this together because we are here together.
Does that mean that there is no one leader in the team, or there is still a leader?
There is always a leader at certain time, depending on the role they play and depending on the nature of the projects. So this is more of a modern way of managing teams, by projects. Especially this is very suitable in the new trend at the moment. And I remember when I was the course leader for BA Entrepreneurship, because it's based on team. And I remember the parents will come with the children, I wonder how my son is going to learn in a team for the next 3 years. It was out of the ordinary. So I said, well, isn't you working in an organization that is in team? Why not allow them to learn now than when they graduate? So that was my response to parents. But I said, yes, at the university, we allow them to fail. We don't fail them because they're not able to work in teams. We fail them if they don't participate in teams. That's the most important. So here, again, we talk about co-creation. This is where if they do not know how to co-create within the team, you don't expect them to co-create outside. So they have to learn to manage. What role do I play when I'm in the team? So that's why we're talking about weekly exercise, the weekly wiki that they have to write. What is my role, my task that I need to fulfill? If I have fulfilled my task, each time I fulfill my task, I have developed a skill. And then they become a team player. And they become more experienced, they can become a team leader to be in charge of another new project. So that's where they learn about more a project management lead. So depending on the skills, it's very much the leadership by skills, the competence that they have developed through the practice and the reflection. So it's about and then because they care for each other, they build that community. They leverage on each other's people's skill and they share information. The willingness to share information rather than keeping information. So that's how the team spirit developed.
We emphasize more on the cooperation as well. So you cooperate while you compete. And it gives them some sense of motivation to do better, and at the same time, they know that in order for me to do better, I can only go further if I have my team with me. And then I think this is the mindset change that they have to go through before they realize that, oh, now I understand why I am in a team.
But it also means that if we're doing, if our solution is a social one, for example, and we'd like to do it with the community. So the community itself can be a part of the team, or that goes without saying that they must include the community as part of the team. Otherwise, whatever solution that you're dishing out is merely top down and not necessarily, something that can be utilized and benefited.
It will be seen as something forceful. They will not accept it.
Yeah. It needs to come from the grassroots. And I think the most important is what can you learn from each other. And if you have a mindset of learning where you are willing to unlearn your assumptions and your bias, you go out there and learn from each other. And this is how you build a community. You build a stronger trust within your team. So the learning element and the fact that they understand that in order for them to work quite closely together, through team, entrepreneurial team, right? You need to learn. So because it's different from teamwork, because teamwork you would then just simply work closely together, complete the job, and then that's it. Yeah, you learn a little bit about what went wrong, what went well, and then you can actually do a better one. But for team entrepreneurial learning, it's more about what kind of skill that I want to learn next time around. So I have experienced project management this time around, and I'm actually leading it. Now I might decide, maybe next time around I need to learn how to follow, because I've been leading quite a lot, and this is a skill that I want to learn. So maybe Jane next time around you say that, well, I'm very good with marketing, and what I want to do is actually upskill myself in terms of design. So in a way, they know how to coordinate together to help each other to learn. And that makes it different with normal team working group.
So in the team learning, they are very clear within the members what skill each want to learn. So it's the team learning contract. So they help each other. So they will find their own materials to help them the knowledge that they need. For example, if they need somebody, if none of the members have this skill, for example, about how to set up a company, and then they will find someone to help them and invite the person to come into the class and talk about it. And then they go through the process. That's why in our PPE, we have what you call the entrepreneur in residence. We tell the students, these are the people that you are available. It is up to you to make appointments to see them and to use the resources they have that make available to you. So this is what our students will learn to decide. So we just don't say anything and let them take the lead.
Yeah. So we don't really call guest speakers to the class. If they think that they need this because they don't have the resources, they arrange themselves to call somebody who is an expert to share their knowledge with them, because this is a requirement. This is the need that they want. And the knowledge that they learn will stick because it is something that they need in order for them to apply for their projects.
So this is, in other words, like what in lean businesses call validation, right?
Yes.
So the validation here comes from within the teammates. And if the teammates include the community that you're trying to serve, then that validation is a way stronger validation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And becomes a belief, and it builds the team confidence.
Yeah.
But does this also mean that the process will take a way longer time?
Normally, the planning and the process will take a longer time, but it's more effective in terms of achieving it.
Right.
There's a lot of dialogue, meetings, talking to each other, consensus, building trust. And there's always suspicion between the members when things are not doing well, you know. And then when they learn this, okay, we make the mistakes. One example was our BA entrepreneurship. There's one student, he said, I'm a very good accountant. I can do this, I can do that. I'm very good with this and that, filling in the forms. And then what He thought he was very good in filling the forms, but while they're setting up the CIC, we call it the social enterprise, and they were bouncing back from the company house, this not done, that not done. I said, you're not good in this skill. And finally, he has to admit, I am not good in this skill. Perhaps someone can take this over. And it's not easy for him to say that by admitting. That means it's about being humble, admitting your own mistakes, and let somebody take over who is pretty good in that skill, more meticulous, to run that project.
Right. So you also learn about what your shortcomings are.
Yes.
What your weaknesses are.
And from there, you'll be able to build a community because you have this sense of belongings. You have this sense of understanding about what you want to become in the future, what you want to do, and your skill set.
So when we say a team, how large or how small? Is there like a minimum?
Magic number.
Yeah. At a minimum?
We've tried with three before, and that's a minimum and maximum that we've tried with around.
20.
We did one with 36, but it's a bit challenging.
Challenging for us.
Yeah.
And we split them into two. It's much easier.
Yeah. So 15 to 20 is the max.
So it's easy for the coach, or it's easy for the
less chaos. For them to, if it's the first time for them to do it, you can easily scope this chaos a bit.
Yeah.
It's more about you want to allow them to have this sense of togetherness, and the bigger the group, there's too much voices.
So when you have a choice, if an entrepreneur has a choice on choosing and building his own team at the very beginning, what are the stuff that he should be looking out for, or how can he allow this team building up of a team to be natural and not, form because of his biasness?
Oh, this is very interesting. We have a course called BA Entrepreneurship Pathway. And I've got this idea, okay? I want to do this, for example. And then they learn, I need a team. Otherwise, it's still an idea. So they learn to what we have done is we use the group coaching. So all these individual aspiring entrepreneurs sitting together. Okay. You are so good with this video thing. Okay, can you help me with the video? So they form what you call alliances. And that alliance become the informal team within them. And then he said, you have a mentor. Your mentor is so good. He's good with accounts, how to set a company. Can I get help from him? So he formed a team. So they built the the social capital naturally. So they know who they need to work with.
And I think we can give another example that one of our MSc students who's currently running a startup on her own. And, after going through the first semester, she told us that, thank you so much, because now I know how to hire my first member to create a team. Because, going through the process, allowing her to understand what kind of questions to ask. Asking the correct question and looking for the correct answer to be part of a team, because now she knows what is her strength, and now she needs to hire somebody that complements her strength rather than following orders. So in a way, she knows the questions to ask and the answers to seek for, and the skill sets required to complement her skill set.
So
Wow.
basically that's why we're talking about back to mindset again. It's about aware of what you are, what you have, and what you need to complement your weaknesses so that the project or the value can be achieved, the goal.
So she managed to hire her first employee at the end of her first semester, and we are so proud of it.
And how did she hire? Was she also from the same university, or she was?
No, she's not. No, they are not from the same university. From outside. So I think she used LinkedIn, and then she did it through did a thorough interview, and
Nice.
certain tests as well, if I'm not mistaken.
So one of the understanding of this team must be that you need to consider each one as a peer instead of as a subordinate or a team member that's serving what you want. And that mindset, I think.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. There's no hierarchy. So that's why we normally sit in a circle.
Circle is the word. Everything we do is in circle.
Circle.
Right, like you can create a safe place because you sit in a circle and everybody is. So there's no
No tables as well.
long table.
There's no-
tables. No, not even circle table. So it's actually a chair with openness in front of you. So it creates a mind of like, like I can connect with you directly because you're sitting in front of me. In
You
a
see each
circle.
other's face.
You see each other's face, you see each other's behavior, you see each other's, what you call it, you can sense of the emotions as well.
And this obviously work at the community level as well.
Yes.
Because then they will not feel that they're coming to see someone of a certain status. They're actually seeing everyone just like themselves.
Yes, that's correct.
So we avoid standing up because whenever you stand up, it's like there's certain kind of status.
And are there any tips you can give out for like how do you break ice when you begin?
Oh, the
trying
beginning.
to-
The most important is check
In.
in.
Oh, what is check-in? Tell us.
It depends on what the purpose. So normally, if it's first time, is check is how do just tell me about yourself. What do you like, kind of thing. Getting to know each other, and then having a very nice conversation.
Yeah.
But of course, the first time is always like I want to be superficial.
Superficial, yeah.
And then we have to craft those questions each time in order to meet the learning outcome of each session.
Yeah, maybe I'll give you an example. So each week we have a check-in session. I know every session we have a check-in and check-out. So kind of like focusing them to focus. So if they were playing on a phone, it's like, okay, it's time for checking in. Everybody is, ready. And it's not like just because you sit next to me, we have to go like next to each other. No, whoever are ready, they will then check in. So usually the first question that we ask is, how do you feel today? And sometimes allow the student to say, I'm so sorry, I didn't sleep last night and I feel rubbish. And forgive me if I'm not contributing that much. So in a way, it allows them to empathize, right, you are in a difficult situation, or maybe like, my grandmother is sick at the moment and I'm not really be able to focus. So it kind of like allowing them to connect with each other, and how you actually link it to the content of the sessions that you want them to learn. For example, you could actually link it to what happened to Toys R Us. So Toys R Us had in the brink of bankruptcy. So each of us as a child have been to Toys R Us, right? So rather than asking them how do you feel, like you must have read about what happened with Toys R Us. So what was the best moment when you first step into Toys R Us? In a way, they bring themselves back to the memories, and it's open up their childhood to their team and peers. And this is actually how you build trust with each other.
I like that very much. And that was how you build a community through team learning. This is this week's Professionalising Entrepreneurship, a podcast series which is a collaboration between EFM of Global Entrepreneurship Movement Association and PPE, the Professional Practice in Entrepreneurship. For more insightful conversation, next week we are talking about learning by doing. This week, we'll leave you with some sound bites from Sophia, founder and CEO of Meals, and she's going to talk about the importance of a team.
Hi everyone, my name is Sofia Fominova and I'm the founder and CEO of Meals. We created software that allows food brands to set up their own smart recipe platforms in order to create strong and loyal communities around their brands. So simply speaking, it is a marketing tool for innovative food brands. Once I started my master's, I actually didn't have a team, but I was already working on my project and it was literally just me. And I was very skeptical about the idea